not too proud to do that, and yeah, it's okay for everything to not be perfect.
Welcome to Fika's Focus. Voices leading change.
All right. Kia ora, Ash. How are you?
Morning, good. How are you?
Yeah, we've had a good morning. Lots of learning, and I think it pivots nicely into talking about leadership. You know that as a company, we've always put a lot of emphasis on leadership, and I think going backwards a wee bit, we've been pretty struck by probably what we haven't done enough for our leaders in the past, and what we do for our leaders now, and that's me standing back and owning where we could have really supported some people a hell of a lot more than what we did when we first started. That's okay, I own that. But what's going on today, leading people and actually doing a great job of leading people is critically important to our organisation.
Our success.
And also, it's one of the probably big things that both you and I, and all our leaders, but we're on the podcast, that we just love. Right?
Absolutely, yeah. That's why I do what I do.
I wonder, when it comes to leading people through heavy times and tough times as well, we know that we'd love to think that education is easy to navigate, but actually it's such a changing landscape and what's been presented to us, not just in children, but also in the changing landscape of whānau and their needs and all that sort of stuff. Navigating some of those things for our people, what challenges have you, because you've been in it quite a while, what challenges or shifts have you seen?
I feel like mental health is probably the top of my list in terms of our whānau and tamariki after COVID and lockdowns and all those things. Not that I'm blaming that, but it's more obvious since, in the last few years, I guess. And supporting people individually as well, because what works for one person or one whānau or one child won't work for the next. So,
I think that we can certainly point at post-COVID an era.
Yeah.
We're not pointing at COVID,
the times.
but we can certainly say that the era post-COVID has certainly seen an upshoot in mental health stuff that requires us as leaders to do greater things for our people. What are some of the things that deliberate and authentic moves that you take to really support that space?
Acknowledging that I think the biggest thing I always say to the team and to whānau, our hards are all different, and just because you feel like, oh no, I don't want to be hoha and let someone know about my challenges. No, actually especially me, that's my job, that's your job. It is our job to know about those challenges and act on giving them tools and tips to support positive outcomes.
It is unequivocally my opinion that when things go wrong, it is the leader's issue. And as for Courtney and I, we have to own things for us. If things have not gone well, it's on us. And I think as our council as well, I think it's fair to say we like to live in that realm of let's own
Absolutely.
What's not going on, especially with moving targets when it comes back to the needs of individuals being varied. You're talking about my heart being different to your heart. When it comes back to some of those deliberate moves again, when dealing with certain or individual cases and the frequency, how do you keep your cup full so that you have the energy to continue to come back in and make those moves for people?
I had a really nice message from one of our kaipō last night, just letting me know it was a busy day. There was a lot going on, lots of emotions, letting me know that I was appreciated, and she saw how hard I work, and it makes a difference. All of those things are really nice, but my reply to her was, yep, the day was big, it was busy, there was lots happening, but I can reflect tonight, I can reset tonight with my whānau at home, at the gym in the morning, and then come in fresh, ready to go. So, I think I know when I need to tap out, or, making a phone call last night to you and Court for some support. I'm not too proud to do that, and, it's okay for everything to not be perfect, I guess.
It's funny that we were talking there because sometimes people do get too proud.
There's no point, or I'm going to flounder.
Weird, eh?
Yeah, I do have pride, and I hadn't informed you of everything yesterday until last night. I felt,
but that's not pride. I believe that's ego.
Okay. you go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You,
Well, I
you're
just
not
was
too,
like, I got it. I got
you're
it.
not too proud.
No.
But what I'm saying is in the
Yeah.
past with, even because I've been guilty
has
of
been
myself.
ego. Yeah.
You know, I'm like, oh, no, I can sort it.
I don't want them to know.
Nope. Oh,
Yeah.
no, I can't sort it.
Yeah,
And
there comes a
then
point.
the ego really takes a hiding. Yeah, but it's really hard to say to your people, come and see me if you need a hand, and then you don't do it yourself, right?
Yes, totally. And if actually previous managers or bosses of mine would know that I always found that hard, and I sort of would just do it on my own. But I think you guys have shown me that it's okay. And there are definitely times where I can't do it all on my own. And I said that to my partner last night. He always says to me, like, you're just built different. And I cried and I said to him, I'm actually not built different tonight. I need some help. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, interesting that Penny said that, because I literally came from having a conversation with Courtney, and we were talking about a few things and things that are going on, and I said exactly the same thing. I said, "Babe, you're built for this. Like that's that. But we cannot rely that leaders are just always just built for things,
Most
because
of the time, but-
like we've just been talking about, there are some things that really trigger me, and they don't trigger you, and things that trigger you don't trigger Sammy, and things that trigger Sammy don't trigger Rose or Rosie or Courtney. You know, it's and then as a collective leadership team, we hopefully balance out everyone's
Which is
triggers.
pretty cool.
We'd be in trouble if all of us got triggered by the same thing. Going to, you know, I wonder, because you've been kind of in this realm since we really kicked off in this space of the council meeting regularly and going into that space and talking through things all the time, and growth and learning. And what do you still feel are some of the areas that you can work on, that we can work on, that as a collective we could work on?
I think for us all to be more vulnerable and sharing, like you just said about our pride, I'm not saying anyone's carrying a huge sense of pride, but if I can share my experience of the last 24 hours, it may help someone with decision making or actions, or I think that would be really cool for us to be doing.
We're talking about candor today, but you know, I know that in really high performing scenarios or situations with people, the ability to communicate fast is necessary. I think you'll find that that's relevant across all realms, not just leadership. But when it comes back to leading big groups of people, if we're not communicating effectively, we really can find ourselves in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. And last night, going back to that example, if I just floundered and, oh no, I'm not calling Courtney and Ray, I'm not getting anyone else involved, I'm not seeking support or guidance, well then, where's that going to land me? Not very positive outcomes. So I think, if you've always got the best outcomes for tamariki and whānau at the forefront, or ourselves, even in personal life, then you can put the pride aside and do what's needed and what's best.
You know, I think to our sector, anyone who talks to me knows how much I love education and how much I love our sector. I do often wonder about single cell services and things, and hoping that they've got points of contact for support, because I know there are centres out there doing, like your mum isolated and hurt where she is down her way, Taranaki and things, but it's part of the reason for success, and success is relative and indicative of what we believe, but part of the reason for success is also knowing our centre leaders can have a port of call. They can go and talk to someone, they can go and moan about Ray. He always comes in and he's reading a new book or something, and shut up, Ray. Or just having a shoulder to lean on and say, hey, that's not directly above you.
Yeah, that's nice too. I love that support. And, there's often times we'll call each other and say, hey, have you been through this? Or I know you're working with Anton at the moment and this is the plan I've got. Can you help me and read through mine and support? That's cool. We're very lucky to have that.
Yeah. And I wonder how we can build that for other people in the sector, in the space because I know the part of the free market, I guess, is it builds an innate level of competition, but really we ultimately are here for kids and teachers, and I wonder what that looks like when it comes back down to the fact that what we're going through as leaders is not unique to us. Probably,
absolutely not.
We've probably what we're going through is probably another 5 centres right now in our area going through similar or same things.
Potentially alone.
We don't want people to feel like they have to rely on other modes of getting through it outside of talking to one another as leaders.
Oh yeah, I'm always at my phone and my email's always open. like I said to you, I've still got teachers, kaiko, and leaders in Aussie reaching out to help with things.
Can you talk to that? Because you're helping one leader at the moment.
Yes.
What are you doing in that space?
Lisa, who I used to work with, she's amazing, and just needing some support around lifting culture. I think she knows it was a strength of mine. We had a really good chat through it on the phone, and then I've been sending her ideas and screenshots of how I start the team's day, and even I've up-leveled since I worked with her, leveled up. So, she's an Aussie, it's different. But if someone down the road called me for support with something, oh my God, I'd always be open to that.
Yeah, and it's one thing I'm really proud of is what I see, because I'm on all the chats and I see the continuation and consistency of your messaging and like Brits and them's. It's just awesome to see starting the day with authentic and deliberate moves, intention, all those sorts of things. It's just, and it's such a small thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I bombard people with those messages.
No, I love it. If you don't do it, we know something's wrong. You're sick.
Yeah, I was crook last week and I was trying to figure out how to send something about being sick and being a leader. But it is those sorts of things where you set the intention, and what happens is one person walks and goes, oh, wow, I really loved that, or I've shared that, or da-da-da-da-da. So,
but that is a deliberate move, like we're talking about.
Yeah, I appreciate the time I get to spend with you. We catch up pretty regularly about leadership and what's going on in each other's days, and I actually appreciate even though I see it's seen as a coaching session, it's a two-way coaching session in my mind. I've learned a lot from you. We disagree on some aspects, and we've had that, and that's all good.
Natural.
We challenge each other in spaces, but I think the two-way coaching thing that we've got going on, I really look forward to. Yeah, I wonder how do we do that? How do we continue to do that for people in the sector that allows us what is a fucking cool thing that we've got going as a sector.
You're watching this.
Yeah.
Just kidding. It would be really cool to set up some sort of forum where we meet locally, all the Papamoa ECE's leaders get together and have a chatter, what's going on for you? And we don't need to name names, or it doesn't need to be like that, but we're actually all going through it, and we're lucky to have the five of us, but it's not the same for others.
No.
Be cool to talk more on that.
Well, let's wrap it up there. I mean, I will leave it at that, because we're actually taking more time to ask for a bit of action. If you are in the area, actually not in the area, I mean, you're talking to people in Australia. If you feel like you really need some help and you want to talk through things, please reach out. We're not saying we're gurus in this space. We're pretty good at things, and there's things we need to improve on as well. If you need help, we are absolutely open to it, and asking for you to just send us a message or something, or shoot us a comment, and we'd love to just jump on a Zoom or whatever and have a yarn, right?
Yeah, that would be amazing.
It would be really cool, because, again, like I said, the stuff I learned in those two-way coaching sessions with Ashley is just so important, and I'm pretty sure that we can continue that way of learning and ultimately it benefits our teaching team and kids.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Awesome. Thanks, Ash.
Cool, thank you.